Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well on Less. I'm Ali, an early retired teacher, currently living well on my small teacher's pension. And today is Money Monday. And on Mondays, we talk about some aspect of our finances and our money and what we do with our hard-earned cash. And today, we are not talking about saving money. Oh no, are we, Luna? No. Today, we're talking about spending money. And I am talking about unplanned spending, and I'm going to make a confession. And I'm sharing this story because I am not holding myself up as a perfect example of living on a small amount of money, because sometimes I do splurge. Usually it's planned, but today I'm going to talk about a very much unplanned outing and how I nearly went crazy. So let's get started. Okay, I think Luna's settled enough that I'm going to tell you this story. So last week, I met up with my mum and my sister in Glasgow. My sister was up visiting my mum, and because of various things that were happening last week, it was going to be challenging for us all to get together. So we agreed that we'd meet halfway, which for us is Glasgow. Now, I haven't been to Glasgow shopping since pre-COVID. And I have spoken openly before on this channel about once upon a time I had a very nice lifestyle where I didn't have to think or worry about spending money or going shopping. And that's because my ex-husband had a really good job. I had a job. So money wasn't an issue. And I've never been in debt. I've never had a shopping addiction or anything like that. So what I'm sharing today was quite surprising to me. So, as I said, I went to Glasgow. I had a strict list of the places that I wanted to go to, the things that I knew I was going to buy, and so I went to Glasgow. Now, I worked out the most economical way for me to go, and that was just simply to drive to Glasgow, which is about half an hour-ish from Stirling, and park in one of the big shopping centres, Buchanan Galleries. Now, parking there isn't cheap, but it was more economical for me to drive there, park there, than it was for me to park in Stirling and pay for a train ticket or a bus ticket. So honestly, I can't wait until I get my bus pass next year at 60. And yes, in Scotland, you get your bus pass when you're 60. So parked at Buchanan Galleries. I was there a little bit earlier than my mum and my sister because I knew I wanted to walk down to Fraser's, which is a great big department store in Glasgow. And as I walked down Buchanan Street, now bearing in mind this is like 10 o'clock in the morning, so 10 o'clock in the morning, and there were two older gentlemen, now hard to tell age, but I would say at least in their 60s. One was wearing a Rangers football top and one was wearing a Celtic football top. Now, anyone who knows anything about football rivalry will know that those two teams are bitter rivals. And I'm not saying they were drunk. Maybe they were still hungover from the night before. I don't know. But they were chasing each other down Buchanan Street, shouting and swearing and singing football songs at one another. It was absolutely hilarious. And it just brought back lots of memories of when, when I was a student in Glasgow many years ago. It's a colourful city and well worth a visit if anyone is ever considering coming up to Scotland. Edinburgh gets all the limelight, but Glasgow has amazing history and architecture and shopping. Anyway, I digress. So I knew that I wanted to go to Fraser's because I wanted to get some Trinny London face cream. Okay, so my lovely mum said that she would pay for this as part of my Christmas present. So yeah, £41, and it's a tinted moisturiser. It's BFF cream, and I don't have any on today, but lots of people when I wear this say that I have a nice complexion, and I don't have a nice complexion in all honesty, but this really works, and I love it. But it's very much a luxury, and thank you, Mum, because this is my Christmas present early. So went down to Fraser's, came back up, popped into Princess Square, which is a very posh sort of renovated Victorian shopping centre. And I was going to pop into Le Creuset, just to have a little look at their cast iron casserole dishes. Now, I don't know what happened, but somewhere between leaving Fraser's and going into Princess Garden, I don't know, something came over me and I was just like, yes, I'm going to spend money, I'm going to be... And I was quite shocked, because genuinely, if I had found the Le Creuset shop, I might have bought myself a Le Creuset casserole at full retail price just because it was a pretty colour. So thankfully I caught hold of myself and just did an about turn and came back out. I don't even know if Le Creuset still have a shop in there. There also used to be a Jo Malone shop in there, and I used to buy the Red Roses perfume. Again, I don't know if it's still there, but if it was, I might have gone in there and spent, I don't know, it's about £60 or something for a little bottle of perfume. But anyway, I walked out and I was thinking, oh, that was a close shave. So then walked back up to Buchanan Galleries, and we had arranged to meet in John Lewis because I wanted to go there to squidge all the baby yarn. Hot tip, don't go to John Lewis in Glasgow. It was rubbish for yarn. I don't have a yarn shop in Stirling anymore. You can get cheap yarn in the cheapy shops, but there's no proper yarn shop. So most of my yarn buying is online, or as you'll see in a minute, I get from my mum. So I was walking back into Buchanan Galleries, and I discovered a charity shop in there. Now, it's not your normal charity shop. It was a charity marketplace shop. So I thought, ooh, I went in there. And when I went in, it didn't look like a charity shop. It was one of those bougie style ones that it just looked like a vintage shop, like a retro vintage shop. So I went in there, no plans to buy anything at all, until I saw a coat. Now, in my defence, I don't have a coat. I have a big dog walking jacket, I've got a little denim jacket, and I've got a bright pink anorak style jacket. That's it. I don't have anything grander than that. So I thought, it's a charity shop, I'll have a wee look, open mind, boom. Saw something straight away, tried it on, fitted perfectly. The woman next to me said, "Oh, hen, that's lovely. That really suits you. You should just get it." So I looked at the price tag, and it was £28. So I'm going to put in a little bit of footage of me wearing my brand new to me jacket. Now, I don't think it's been worn before, although I did find a receipt in the pocket. It still had the little taggy thing inside with the spare button. If it's been worn, it's probably been worn once or twice. It's immaculate. So have a wee look at the jacket that I bought for £28. So I'm just back from Glasgow, and this was my impulse purchase, and it cost me £28. So have a look at my new coat. Give it all the way back. So it's a Joe Brown's brand, which is a kind of slightly quirky brand. It's not high end, but it's not fast fashion rubbish either. It's got little button details on it. It is beautifully lined. It has little stitching details on it. See that in the showing up, little sort of turquoise coat. And as I say, it costs £28, and I've just found a receipt in the pocket for Tesco South Queensferry, and it's dated March 11th of March 2025. So someone has donated this coat somewhere, and I am quite confident that it's never actually been worn because it still has a little tag on the inside with the spare button. So £28. Not sure if it's showing up on camera. No, maybe I shouldn't have stood in front of my red wall, but it's a lovely sort of green and orange check, and it fits me perfectly. I could not buy it. But I really love it. So even though it was very much unplanned spending, it was £28 for a warm, cosy, slightly quirky, because we've kind of agreed that my style is comfy with a quirk. And I just love it. There's just something about it that makes me smile. So when I came home, I realised that I didn't have any hats, gloves, scarves, or anything in those colours. And then I had a brainwave. You may or may not remember when I was clearing out when I was showing you my knitting stash, and I found this yarn, and I said, oh, got this yarn, no idea what I'm going to do with it. It is 100% wool. It almost matches perfectly to the orangey coral colour in my jacket. So I have started knitting myself a hat. Now it's just going to be a sort of beanie hat with a turned up brim, and I'm going to embroider or knit some sort of bluey, turquoisey thing to go on it. So I thought, right, okay, that's fine. Got a hat to go with it. That's not costing me any money. Gloves, I'd quite like a pair of nice fingerless gloves. Remember that recycled yarn that I got from my mum? That is going to be fingerless gloves. So I'm going to have not matchy-matchy, but similar. I don't know if they show up in camera. This one's a little bit paler, but they're not going to be side by side. I mean, one will be on my head and one will be on my hands. So I thought, right, okay, I've got a pattern for double knitting fingerless gloves. I will see if I can find my needles, and then that'll be another free project. So I've spent £28 unplanned on the jacket, but I'm going to knit up some accessories for myself that won't cost me any money because the yarn came from my mum. Now, I could not find my double pointed knitting needles to knit for the fingerless gloves. So I had to unpack and hunt through all sorts of boxes to see if I could find my needles. This is what my bedroom looked like a couple of hours ago. But I found them in the end. I had to empty, I think, about 4 or 5 boxes before I found them, and including a project that I have no memory of either buying or starting. So I will get that finished at some point, and then I'll have a nice loose summer cardigan. So I'm going to have a free hat, free gloves. I've got all the needles and things that I need. I feel better now about the unplanned spending, because the other bits I don't need to spend any money on. But it was a very interesting day out, because now it might have been because I haven't been in Glasgow shopping for a long time. It could be that I was just carried away with the excitement of grabbing a bargain. But as I said, I've never had a shopping addiction. I've never, got myself into any debt or anything by buying too much. But it was quite eye-opening for me, for myself, to see how easily I could have slipped into, well, I've bought a coat, might as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb. And I did have a look round the charity marketplace, a supermarket style thing, and there were a lot of things I could have bought, but they weren't in my size, luckily. But yeah, it was really interesting. I rarely go shopping anyway. It's never been fun or entertaining for me. If I'm going to a shop, I have a list and I know what I need. But oh boy, did I go off list, and then, yeah. So this is just a little sort of reminder to myself that, yeah, I need to be careful. I need to be careful if I am going shopping and get carried away. But I do love my new jacket, and it will be well worn. Yeah, that will be my jacket for the next 5-10 years, easily. So I think it was worth £28. So once I finish the hat and gloves, I will show you the whole ensemble together. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, I think I mentioned it in passing last week. I got new patio doors. Now, long-term viewers, regular viewers will know that my front door and, well, I don't have a back door, it's just patio doors out the back door. The doors were wrecked, and I replaced the front door and was saving up to do the patio doors. I was building up my emergency fund and so on again, so I could eventually get the patio doors done. Now, this person does not want to be named, so I'm not going to name them, but someone very dear to me was concerned that my back door, it wasn't safe, it wasn't secure, it was leaky, it was you've seen it all hanging off the hinges. So I took £500 from my emergency fund and was gifted the rest so that I could get new patio doors. Now, I haven't done anything remotely interesting or fancy. I have literally just replaced the patio doors. So both doors now open and close and lock securely. The seals are all safe and watertight, and in fact, I don't know if you can pick up today, it's absolutely chucking it down today, and the water's just running down the door and draining away. There's no danger. So in the interest of me always being open and honest about my finances, so I contributed £500. I took £500 out of my emergency fund, so it's back down to just over the £500 mark, because I had it built back up into £1,000. And as I said, the rest was gifted. So just to be open and transparent about that. I'll insert a picture of the doors at the end, but as I say, not fancy, just safe and secure. So you made it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you so much. I'm going to have to go back and edit it because I feel I was all over the place. I was reliving that rush when I bought the coat. Yeah, that was yeah, that was surprising to me. But just as I said, as a wee reminder to myself, not to get carried away when I'm spending money. So thanks for watching all the way to the end. Miss Luna, I don't know why. She just seems to be more settled and calm when I'm talking to the camera up the stairs. She's a good girl, aren't you? Yeah, that's right. You give yourself a clean on camera. Lovely. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.